Hello, and welcome to another episode of Challenging Conspiracies with Crafty Keela. Today's video will focus on CGI, technology, and propaganda. This series is a sociological look at how and why conspiracy theorists put forward their argument. This is an important component in understanding why their ideas sometimes stick. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell to receive updates on my latest videos. So one of the first things globe deniers will assert is that all images we have and love of our planet is photoshopped. We live in a Hollywood theme park, they say, that is the set for the ISS, the moon landings and launches. None of it is real. Now, it is important to note that they have no proof to actually back up these claims. They just don't believe it. The first thing to say about this is that it's worth returning to the first video of this series. The inability of globe deniers to trust institutions stems from inflating the mistrust they have in the political system with the professionals in a state-owned institution like NASA. In the last video, I attempted to show that the entire system is not based on lies as conspiracy theorists claim, and that basic misunderstandings of how society works creates serious gaping holes in their logic. So from here, we need to challenge the following: imaging fraud from the space agencies, how technology has impacted the conspiracy world, and the issue of propaganda and how it is used. So a big thing that unites globe deniers is the belief that all footage and images from the space agencies are fake. Two things must be asked of the flat earth community. What qualifies a globe denier to look at an image and decide that it's fake? We will look more at qualifications and education in a later video, but it is important to take note of this question now. And two, why would they fake the very complex, expensive process of imaging and composite creation if the same results could be achieved in a studio like Photoshop? We live in a very complicated society, and any complicated society must assign what's known as a socially accepted term to objects. This is the fundamental building blocks of language. The same is true of mathematics and analysing light.
Most of the photos taken of space come to us in grayscale. First, color cameras are just lower resolution than black and white cameras. To produce any image, cameras require sensors to capture light. For black and white cameras, this sensor is working with all the light that comes into the camera. But with the color camera, you need red, blue, and green receptors to get all the different colors to make up the world. Each receptor is only picking up 1/3 the light that it normally would, which, when put together, creates a less sharp image than you'd get if you were capturing all of the light you were capable of. So flatter, less colorful photos are ideal when it comes to getting the most information you can out of a photo.
When the data is transferred back to Earth, it is interpreted and colours are assigned on a socially accepted basis within the scientific community. This is where understanding the linguistical framework begins to become important. The human eye can only differentiate between a limited number of shades of grey. So in order for us to understand what we're seeing, colour is added. The addition of colours is performed by experts, not to deceive, but to better understand, analyse and categorise particular phenomena in our universe. It is very important to ask conspiracy theorists what qualifications they have when assessing the imaging process. If a person doesn't understand the language, the assumptions they make hold no weight. In order for a voice to have value in this area, the conspirator must have a real understanding of the process beyond having a photography hobby. If your starting point is that everything is based on a lie, then you must have an answer relating to the many thousands of images and hundreds of videos humans have taken from space. The level of mistrust here can be completely exhausting. The need to invest so much energy into the conspiracy can begin to consume and distort a person. It is a state of trauma and fear to reject the idea that the simplest answer can be the correct one. There is no real answer given to the question of why institutions lie, except for monetary gain. But if the Earth could be proven to be flat with an ice wall, you better believe that government bodies and agencies would attempt to commodify it. There would be tours to the ice wall like there is to Disney World. The next thing we have to look at is technology. Now, when it comes to technology impacting the world of conspiracy, there are two avenues that must be addressed. One, how has technological advances helped to fuel the conspiracy theories? And two, the accusation that the system manipulates instruments to protect the globe conspiracy. Science doesn't work, except when it works to the benefit of the world of conspiracy. There have always been individuals in existence that have refused to accept the mainstream narratives.
The end is coming!
However, with today's technology, it is easier and faster to communicate conspiracies with the general public. What is ironic is that conspiracy theorists take extreme advantage of this technology, and they will use those gifts to spread hate and mistrust. 200 years ago, humanity couldn't have conceived of the technology that we take for granted today. The sky was too far away for us to reach, let alone the stars. Just because your mind is too small to accept the incredible achievements that human beings have achieved doesn't mean it's not the truth. The real truth, the undeniable truth, is that the universe doesn't care if you believe in it or not. It will continue on its course regardless. The greatest irony is that the average globe denier puts an astounding amount of faith into the system. They charge the system with the ability to manipulate compasses and flight navigational systems in order to protect the conspiracy. These groups of people who can barely agree on climate targets, trade tariffs, or migration levels can mysteriously agree in hiding the shape of the Earth. The final thing I want to touch on is propaganda. Propaganda is a way of disseminating information from a particular or biased point of view. When we hear the word propaganda, our minds immediately go to Nazi Germany or Stalinist USSR. Propaganda is not always that direct. There is a big difference, though, between propaganda and information. Let's take the mass media as an example. The globe denier insists that the reason the majority of people believe that the world is spherical is due to the domination of mass media. They tend to forget or omit that a spherical Earth has been the dominant school of thought for more than 1,000 years. Long before there was ever a mass media, there was an acceptance that the Earth was not flat. The suggestion put forward by globe deniers is that the world's elite believed that the Earth was round until the 1950s, and that they set up the space agencies at this time alongside the Antarctica Treaty, which was an agreement prohibiting military activities, mineral extraction, and nuclear testing, because they discovered this mysterious ice wall. The rationale is that the governments of the world didn't think that the general public could handle that the world was flat. Again, two things need only be stated here. One, the Antarctic Treaty was signed in the middle of the Cold War. The globe deniers here are giving way too much credit for nations at the time, particularly the US or USSR, to actually get along. These nations were in the middle of a silent war. They would not have had the capacity to agree on such a monumental discovery. The war to reach space was happening simultaneous to the over 200 deaths trying to escape East Berlin. Yet we are expected to believe that the USSR and the USA were colluding together to hide the real shape of the Earth. The second thing to question here is the absolute insult to the intelligence of ordinary people. It seems to be the belief of most globe deniers that we were not ready in the 60s and 70s to understand flat Earth. So they don't have any faith whatsoever in the rational capacity of the majority of people. So already in this argument, conspiracy theorists are trying to separate themselves out as the special individuals to create an illusion of knowledge. The hope is that they are considered as the new enlightened, leading the world from the dogmas of science. They use emotional language in their propaganda to gain sympathy from the general public. In reality, they show time and time again that they just do not understand or accept basic scientific fact. Not only is this new rise in anti-science foolish, it is also dangerous. The refusal to accept scientific experiments and findings that have been tried and tested for hundreds of years presents a gap of the vital practical social understandings that we need to help us analyse the physical world around us. So what this video has shown is that there is no actual evidence of intended deception of images or information coming from NASA or other space agencies. It also explains that the globe denial movement uses anti-science to undermine everything we understand and accept as social truths. The accusations put forward by globe deniers are rooted in a deep lack of scientific education and an unfounded faith in the unity of world leaders. Without expertise in any field, globe deniers produce word salad to justify their outlandish claims. Being anti-education does not add more weight to your assertions. We will look at education in the next video. Until then, please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell for updates. Take care and stay safe.